Hello again, everybody, and welcome in on what has turned out to be a really nice Thursday in Nashville, Tennessee. A little different setup today in that we're broadcasting live from the Iroquois Steeplechase. So if you're watching by way of podcast, we decided that you don't need to see what I look like. After 30 years, you got a pretty good idea, and it explains why I'm in radio. So most of the scenes that you will see by way of the podcast will be from the Iroquois Steeplechase, which will run on Saturday. And there are a lot of amazing things, improvements, upping the ante, if you will, that we're going to talk about during these 2 hours. In about 40 minutes, I'm going to try to explain how the New York Knicks are up 2-0 on Boston. I have never been more shocked by anything than what went on last night at the Garden. Hello, Billy.
Hello,
how
George.
are you?
I'm great. That was another choke job by the Celtics, but
it was a little bit of a choke job.
I mean,
they were up 20 at one point.
I can't believe it happened again for a second time.
So most people have figured out what I know about a steeplechase you can put in a thimble.
Yes.
And eventually Dwight Hall, who is the chairman of this year's running, will come over and try and clean up all of my messes. But the first guinea pig in all this, poor Andrew Bird, deserves so much better. He is the founder and CEO of TVV Capital, and he's got a lot to do with what's going on. Dwight, get on in here, because Lord knows we need your help as well. Andrew, thanks for taking the time to come over here.
My pleasure. It's great to be here. Working with Dwight, working with actually my wife, Marianne, is the president of the Iroquois Steeplechase. But as they said, it's the best steeplechase in the United States.
Okay, tell us why that's the case.
Well, one, this setting is absolutely gorgeous. There's nothing else really like this in the country in terms of the way that this bowl is set up and the view that's out there. It was the only steeplechase course in the country that was ever built by the federal government. It was built, after by the work WPA, and it's done it. But it's truly a remarkable course, and there's no other sport like horse racing. Horse racing, and what we're doing to expand with Cheltenham to really bring the winner of the Iroquois Steeplechase, which I believe is the 5th race today, and it's been run for probably 80 years.
Yeah.
And we've got as great a team as we end up with. A lot of horses from Snap Decision has won 3 times and is looking to win a 4th time. We've had horses win from Ireland. We have horses from England. And this year, we're fortunate enough to be teaming up with the Jockey Club in England. They have chosen us. They're also looking at Churchill Downs for another teaming up opportunity, but they've teamed up with us. And the Jockey Club represents 16 race courses and is affiliated with the royal family in England. So basically, they run racing in England.
Right. I heard it called earlier the Super Bowl of this sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheltenham, where we're talking about, is going to be truly fantastic in terms of being able to have 200,000 people. The Irish fight the English. It's a war out there.
Well, I can feel
they love racing.
I can feel the intensity already.
You go talk to him about Willie Mullins over in Ireland. He's a national hero. It's amazing the strength of racing in Ireland and in England. And so we're very over 4 days, the Irish and the English go at it, and somebody comes out ahead. And this year we are teaming up with the Stairs Hurdle, which is I believe it's on Thursday. And it is a race that has a $381,000 purse. The Iroquois Steeplechase has a purse of $250,000.
Which, am I right, is the largest it's ever been?
It's the largest purse in the United States. It's one of the reasons we're the greatest steeplechase in the United States. There's a lot of things about Nashville that are truly exceptional. This is one of them. And this.
Let me bring Dwight in here for a minute, because Dwight knows that what I know about steeplechase racing you can put in a thimble, But Dwight has bailed me out before, and he intends to do it again today. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and you just got a great education from Andrew there. He got to be our new spokesman.
Oh, he ripped it all out there
Yeah.
in about 90 seconds.
Yeah,
Well, you don't want to hold back. When you're excited about something, you just want to turn it loose. So this is a great steeplechase, and really with Dwight, my wife, Holly Hirschman, Autumn Eklond, they spend the whole year working on this. They start the day after the race is over.
Right.
They clean this place up themselves, and they perform. They get out here and raise this money.
Dwight, am I right? This is a Metro Parks facility. What we're looking at, and as you can see from some of the camera angles, a beautiful area. Metro Parks?
you're right. This is part of the park system. We're part of Metro Nashville, and they do an amazing job helping us keep it up. Interesting, a lot of people don't know that the Iroquois Steeplechase maintains the course, maintains the hedges and fencing around here, and the barn, the horse barn. So in partnership with Metro, we both take care of this facility, you see, which is pretty amazing.
So let me ask both of you this. We're going to ask some dumb stuff. And we know that Billy asked the dumbest earlier, which is,
I get all the dumb stuff.
why don't you go ahead and ask it?
Well, I think a lot of people want to know what the difference is between, because we just saw the Kentucky Derby. What are some of the main differences between what you saw in the Kentucky Derby and what you're going to see Saturday here at the Iroquois Steeplechase?
Well, first off, the horses you see that will be running on Saturday are thoroughbreds, and that is the breed that also ran in the Kentucky Derby. So first off, that is the exact same thing. They're the same breed of horse. However, the difference is the Kentucky Derby was on a flat track, was only 1.25 miles with no jumps. Steeplechasing is racing, but with jumps in the middle, or we like to say speed bumps, hurdles. So, and they go further. The races on Saturday will be anywhere from 2.25 miles to the Iroquois, which is 3 miles. So they're going a lot further, and the weights are higher. The minimum weight is 140 pounds, where the Derby, I think they all carried 126. So the jockeys are bigger. They're my size. And the horses carrying more weight and going a longer distance. But they all truly were, most of them were flat horses that retired or basically having second careers. And they're normally 4, 5, 6, 7 years old.
Let me ask both of you, how did you find out that you were actually going to have a winner that would be going to the UK for what you all have dubbed kind of the Super Bowl of this sport?
I think the Jockey Club of England recruited us, so that they've been over here. We brought Willie Mullins in here. We brought a number of people. The Jockey Club is trying to foster international connections with racing. They're trying to expand racing, maybe ultimately into our country, but then maybe into Japan, maybe in other parts of the world. And there's going to be a significant process of expanding the sport of racing to more of an international scope. And that is really why they came to us, and why we agreed to help underwrite the costs that are associated with being able to transport these horses, because getting these horses out of the country is no easy feat. You got to pile them on a plane, and you quarantine them when they get there, and there's a lot to it. But it's
a little more than buying a first class ticket.
Right. Well, you wouldn't want the horse standing next to you.
No, I believe that. Coffee, tea, I can just hear.
Coffee,
Dwight,
tea.
how did you find out?
Well, Matthew Wolfson, who is with the Jockey Club, attended our race last year. He actually, what Andrew was saying, he was at the Kentucky Derby trying to make a connection with them, and then came down and spent the week with us. And so we initiated a conversation, he did, with how can we expand and get some more international participation. So that's how it began. We had some more conversations over the fall. Engaged Andrew, and his company was nice enough to sponsor us, and it went from there. And he's here this year. He's actually in town right now and be out this week.
And also, previously about 3 years ago, there was a Cheltenham Challenge where if you won both Cheltenham and you won here, you would get another $250,000, which paid off through an insurance policy. So they've been here. They've been to this race. They know this race. This race is known worldwide and it's the number one. That's why they chose us. We're the number one.
Dwight, I love it, man. He's your best cheerleader.
We're good to, from here on, we just call Andrews. You need to do an interview. We've got one next week.
He's the one.
As I said, Dwight's the man. Dwight's the chairman. He spends a whole year doing this.
Yeah, but you're the best dressed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why, but I figured if I was going to be on the show, I better be looking good.
Oh, please. Flattery and lying will get you everywhere.
George, tell him what you're wearing Saturday.
Probably I won't look as good as he does, that's for sure. But
well,
I know you got to get out of here. You got a tight schedule going.
Right.
So, Andrew, we wanted to get you on here right at the beginning. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, let me just mention Children's Hospital. Children's Hospital is our beneficiary. For the last 40 years, we've been supporting them, and it's all about the horses, but it's all about the kids.
Well said. Andrew Bird, thank you.
Thank you.
Dwight, you're not going anywhere because Lord knows I need your assistance. We'll go to our first break. You all have figured out, what do I know about steeplechase racing? Not much, but we'll learn more coming up next on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
The Iroquois Steeplechase Saturday is the big day, and we came out here today to sort of give you a little bit of a feel of what all goes on with this. Dwight Hall is the chairman and has bailed me out numerous times already. So let's talk a little bit of logistics, because this doesn't just happen where somebody snaps their fingers. And by the way, the last time I was over here, it was because I hit a golf ball on the 4th hole at Harpeth Hills, and it didn't go where it needed to. So let's talk some of the logistics of this. Somebody told me 100 golf carts are in this area transporting who knows what.
We have at least 100 golf carts. So if you can see, I don't know if the camera picks up, if you can see all the tents, all the porta potties, all the venues that are out there, it's quite an undertaking to do it. And we have an event company, Evolution Event Solutions, that helps us do it. They're a professional event sponsor, planner, and we couldn't do it without them. And then we work on this 365 days a year.
So if you will, hold this mic. Yeah, more like that. Good. Perfect. What, when you got asked to be the chairman, you knew backwards and forwards most of what you were getting into. What surprised you the most?
Well, I will say when I stopped riding, I mostly knew how to ride a horse and how to get up to the jockey tent. I would say when I got involved in it, I was really surprised at how much planning and how difficult it is to pull all this off. When you look up into the field and see all those tents and see all the people and all the trucks are going by, it's way more than I thought I'd bargained for. My wife, when I got asked to be it, she said, what did Calvin Hoagland want? He'd driven out to my farm.
Sure.
And I said to her, you don't want to know.
What is the hardest part of putting this event on?
I think pulling all the logistics together, getting everything organized, making sure that everybody gets what they ordered in their tent, and then just attracting the crowd. Nashville has so many events going on. Last year, there were 18 events in Nashville. So whereas we were the
on
only
the day of this event,
day of the race, and where once upon a time we were the only game in town, there were probably about 3 restaurants you could go to, where now we're a whole different world. So we continue to have to evolve and change and make sure we're delivering a product that everybody wants to participate in.
So in the entertainment world, people will say things like, okay, we're the largest this, or we're the biggest that. And earlier today in the press conference that you all held, you all announced that this is the largest purse you have ever had at almost $600,000 for the various races. Race 5 being the Iroquois Steeplechase at $250,000. How have you been able to grow it to this level?
Well, we grow most of it through attendance, the monies we get from attendance, and then we've been lucky to have several very generous sponsors. For example, our brand new race this year, which is the Lewis Brown McMillan Memorial, is sponsored by his son and sister. Son and daughter, and his son-in-law and his wife. So we've been lucky to have some generous sponsors.
So this is the first time, I gather, that we've gone to 7 races. Does that affect start times at all?
No, start times will still be 1 p.m. We just moved the races back, so end time is just a little bit later.
So your wife will like this question. Did you agree to be the chairman for 1 year or for a long time?
I don't think I had a choice. Calvin Hoagland was a trustee and had been a long-time chairman, and I don't think I could have said no.
He didn't give you any choice.
No.
So the 5th race, kind of handicap it for me a little bit. And I'm doing this a little bit for the person out there, number one, that may be new to our city, but also for somebody who's never been to this event before.
Well, obviously, Snap Decision, as we've been talking about, is a favorite, going for the 4th win, which has never been done. But we have a horse in there, Patron, who was second last year and barely second. He probably it's probably ahead was the margin of victory. He's come back. This will be his second time to run at it. And horses generally improve once they've had a run, and they've been 3 miles before. So I would say he would be close on. If we were betting, he'd be the next favorite for sure. And then a horse called Abon, who ran second to Snap about 4 weeks ago in Camden. He should be right there too. He barely got beat in Camden the last time to Snap. So we have two horses that have finished very close to him, and I think will be pretty darn exciting and see what happens.
The race length is how far?
3 miles.
3 miles. So roughly 2.5 times what the Kentucky Derby was a week ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one for you that has nothing to do with this. Why is Sovereignty not running in race 2?
Actually, he initially was not. I read last night that now he is.
Which is good. To me,
that gives it the triple
that's
crown.
good for the sport.
Absolutely.
Was the pressure kind of applied a little bit?
And I'm not quite sure. I think probably one of the reasons that he wasn't going to run is that the Preakness is 2 weeks after the Derby. Now, most trainers are not running back less than a month at 30 days or 6 weeks. It's just got to be they're giving their horses more bounce, more recovery time. Whereas I would say what happened is he probably came out of the race a really fresh horse and looked like he was really back on his game, and the race didn't take anything out of him. And so why not? I mean, if he wins again the Preakness, and even if he doesn't win the Belmont, it will definitely increase his stud value. So what most owners are looking for when they have a big-time horse, a Grade 1 horse, they're looking at putting him to stud for breeding purposes. And the better record they have, the more they can command in the breeding fee.
So if you've got a horse going 3 miles, based on how fragile the Derby winner kind of thing is, would I be right that you don't run that horse again for a pretty good while?
They probably won't run again to this fall or late in the summer at Saratoga, which would be August. So, no, they won't run back for at least, 6 weeks. But most of these horses are Grade 1 horses, and they'll wait for the Grade 1 towards the end of August. Snap Decision will have to wait until Far Hills because he's 11 years old, and the New York Racing Association has a rule that 10-year-olds can't run, or over 10 years old can't run. So he's got to wait for Far Hills.
Okay, another stupid question on my end, and then you'll get some from Billy. When horse racing is doing well, Kentucky Derby, Preakness, Belmont, is there a carryover for you guys?
I think so, probably, because it just increases the interest in horse racing, and I think carries over. So there probably is. It's a little hard to quantify. It's a great question. It's not a dumb question, great question, but it probably does, but I don't know we've ever quantified it.
I got a question about the betting. How much has that changed? Because people come here and that's honestly what gets people excited. Good to see what we can win. How much has that changed?
Well,
and what does that look like when people get here?
Believe it or not, you cannot bet here. Betting in Tennessee on horse racing is not legal. Even though we have sports wagering, they didn't incorporate horse racing. So interestingly, you can't bet legally here. Now, I will tell you, I see lots of slips and boxes and things going on in different areas.
That's why I was wondering about it.
Everybody loves to, get the program, tear it up, put it in a box, or get a sheet and do it among themselves. So I wish we had it. It would certainly, it would certainly help us.
Right. And then for people coming here Saturday, what are a few things that they can't forget that people need to remember when they come here on their drive-in, where to park, if they want food, if they want drinks? Like, what are some things that people can't forget about when they come here Saturday?
Well, the number one thing I think is wear comfortable shoes.
Right.
Because there is walking involved and you're on your feet all day. I talked to a photographer yesterday that was doing an interview, and she said, the first time I came here was a couple years ago. And she said, the one thing I really remember is I didn't wear comfortable shoes. And so she said, so comfortable shoes is number one. Fortunately, I think the weather is going to be spectacular. So you probably won't need raincoat. You probably, won't be hot. I would bring sunscreen because you will be outside all day long. Sunscreen's important. If you get on the website, you'll see where we have food trucks, where we have, if you're coming for general admission, we have an area called Steeplechase Central that has a tent, has picnic tables to sit at. We have water stations around the ground. If you're doing tailgating, most everybody loads up their cars and with food and drinks and everything. And then we also have venues that you can purchase a ticket to that includes admission, all-day beverages, and all-day food. And some of them have closed-circuit TV.
You were talking about the merchandise at the press conference. I might get me a hat. I want to get something, but before I leave here, for people that might want a shirt, a hat, where can they find that?
So we'll have in the infield. We'll have a merchandise area where we're selling shirts and hats and different things, cooling towels to put around your neck. And then up on the hillside, we have another merchandise area. So there'll be two areas where you can purchase merchandise.
I won't be here. George will be here, though. But thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah. I'm glad to have you guys out here.
Oh, listen, and you're not going anywhere because you got to help me with a few other interviews. Parker Hendriks is about to join us over here, and I've heard him. He's got color commentator written all over him. So I'm going to ask one last thing because my friend Kim Detweiler Burton is the reason we're out here. And we asked the question during the marathon, what is the perfect weather for running? Well, what's the perfect weather for a steeplechase?
Well, believe it or not, we're going to be close to the perfect weather on Saturday. If it's a high is 71, that means during the day it's going to be in the high 60s. I would say with that temperature, we're probably not going to have very much humidity. Low humidity really is important. As you know, the heat isn't so bad but the humidity is. So low humidity, temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s. Cloud cover doesn't hurt, but those kind of temperatures, sunshine doesn't hurt either.
Perfect. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming over here. Don't go anywhere because we got more coming up.
Great. Thanks.
So our coverage from the Iroquois steeplechase will continue in just a few moments. Later in the show, I will make clear how shocked I am that the New York Knicks are up 2-0, having won back-to-back in Boston at the Garden. Well, the Boston Garden, let's put it that way. 2 different times, Boston has had double-digit leads that they have gagged in the fourth quarter. This one, for me, comes under the category of just about the time you think you know exactly what's going to happen, we don't know squat. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Flat Rock Motor Club is a members-only driving resort combining a world-class racetrack with exquisite amenities. Located on 800 acres of pristine countryside in the heart of Tennessee, their elite 3.5-mile club track is surrounded by sweeping views of manicured rolling hills. The charm of Tennessee can be felt with every hill you climb. Whether your beverage of choice is sweet tea or whiskey, at their premier driving resort, you will experience a sophisticated blend of country elegance and southern hospitality. For more information, log on to flatrockmotorclub.com.
Attention sports fans. The Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectibles Expo is set for Friday, May the 16th through Sunday the 18th at the Farm Bureau Expo Center in Lebanon. Former Titans Javon Curse, Albert Hainsworth, and Joey Kent will all be there, and we'll broadcast our show on Friday the 16th. Parking is free, admission is $10, and I can't wait to meet all of you in Lebanon. We are back, and we welcome all of you into what is a little bit different show today. We're out at the Iroquois Steeplechase. The good news for you is you're not seeing me on camera because I've asked Billy Derrick to kind of give you some of the sights and maybe a few of the sounds of what goes on a couple of days before the actual racing happens. Dwight Hall is the chairman. He is basically propping me up because everybody in this knows going in, I don't know that much. I've been to this race probably 10 times in my life, but it's not like talking about the Knicks or the Celtics or the Braves and all the stuff we do on a daily basis. Dwight, we're about to meet a young man here in a couple of minutes, Parker Hendriks, who is just remarkable. I don't know what other way to say it.
He really is. He's 18 years old. 21 years old. Was champion jockey at 18 years old, which is just amazing. Has had a very, very successful riding career and just recently retired more for health reasons, and which kudos to him for recognizing that, time is up and move on. He this morning was helping us with the drawing, and he's trying to get into the media business, and I was just amazed this morning at how well spoken he is, and just a great job he did. I think he's got a great career.
Yeah, he'd won almost $2 million. So it's clear he had some real ability in that area.
Oh, absolutely. He was absolutely champion jockey. And so he certainly does have lots of ability and had a great career. But listening to him this morning, I think he's got a great career ahead of him in media.
Well, that may have been the case until he came over here. Let's say hello to Parker Hendriks. Parker, thanks for joining us here at our broadcast site.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I read a story last night, and obviously when you do sports talk for a living, it's a lot of football, basketball, baseball. Young guy at the University of Utah, a quarterback named Cam Rising, had one injury too many and basically had to announce, I'm calling it quits. So when I heard you talk about the decision you had to make, the first thing I thought about was the Utah quarterback, Cam Rising. How hard was this ultimately for you to do this?
It was definitely challenging, but I'm very content with the decision. And honestly, it wasn't, I don't think it's the hardest decision I'll ever have to make. And I think, I'm really grateful to have walked away in one piece, and definitely, I feel some of the effects. I broke my back. That bothers me a little bit. And, sometimes definitely my memory isn't great, but, all in all, I'm fine. And I had, an awesome time and an awesome career.
Did you spend a lot of time thinking about it, or was it, I know this is it, boom?
I definitely spent a lot of time thinking about it. So I rode in Camden, and I got a fall in the first race, which was the last weekend in March. And then I rode on the flat at Middleburg 3 weeks later, on my favorite horse. His name is He'll Do. He was an awesome servant to me. And then that was it. I was there, and I was kind of, taking it all in. And I was, I hadn't made any decision, but at that point, and I kind of wanted to get back and see how I felt. And, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm good. I got down off the horse, and I was, I was happy enough.
Yeah. When we come out here, it's a great time. It's a lot of fun, but it can also be very dangerous.
Yeah, it's, very dangerous. Not that long ago, I didn't know him, but a young jockey, he was 24, 25. Michael O'Sullivan was his name. He lost his life riding, and I think that happened in January or February. So it's super dangerous, and you can acknowledge the risk, and there's a difference between acknowledging the risk and being in fear of the risk. And it wasn't fear for me. I could have gotten out and gone on and ridden, but I think that I reached a point where the risk didn't match the reward, and that, the time came.
Eventually, I'm going to get to the real stuff, but I do want to ask this. What's been the reaction of other riders, other jockeys who have an opinion? What's that been like?
Everybody's been awesome. A huge amount of support. Everybody's been super kind. And, I like to think I was, pretty popular and well liked, in the racing world, and everybody's been super kind, super, generous and thoughtful. And I couldn't thank everybody enough.
Both of you guys have had a lot of success. Yours in a more brief time than Dwight's. You said some really nice things at the press conference earlier today about this whole setup. Tell me why you feel that way.
Everybody here, it's a huge team. I can't even begin to name everybody, and I don't know everybody, but everybody does an awesome job. The course is always beautiful. The horsemen are always really well taken care of. And that does not go unnoticed. There's always the food and drinks for the people involved, and there's always plenty of ice, plenty of water, and everybody's super accommodating, which goes a really long ways, especially we're all a long ways from our home.
Yeah. If you said to me, if we turned the tables and you said, okay, what are the best venues in the NBA or Major League Baseball, I could rattle off 3 or 4 that to me stand out above the rest. In this country, where does this setting rank?
It's definitely, I would say it's, they're different. In terms of the actual course is probably the best. It's the most fair. It takes you have to be a really good horse. You have to stay, you have to jump. And it's always really competitive racing. Far Hills is very close. It's also very competitive. And it's different, like you go to Saratoga, that's a very different feel. This is very much so not a party atmosphere, but very like electric almost. And Saratoga is very, different in the sense that it's like it's historical. It's super hard to win up there. But it's a, you know, you go different places and it means different things for different reasons, I would say.
Dwight, you realize in the 5-minute audition here, he's passed the test. He's ready to be somebody's color analyst in some race setting.
Absolutely. In fact, he's been working last weekend, Laurel Park, on doing this very same thing. So I think he's getting his career kicked off.
Is this what you want to do?
Yeah, I've really been enjoying it. I have to thank the NSA, and they gave me a couple of opportunities, and I was just kind of doing it to try it out. I did, the last 3 or 4 weekends, and that was really enjoyable. And then I got a call to come down to Laurel and fill in last weekend, and I think I'm going to go back in another 2 or 3 weeks and do that and see where that goes.
Yeah, give him this tape. It'll get you what you need.
Yeah.
Actually, it probably won't. Billy, you have anything you want to add on that?
A little bit. It would get you somewhere. But I do have one for Parker from Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Coming down to the South, I don't know in your career how often you came to the South, and you mentioned kind of the party atmosphere. It's a good adjective for this weekend. But coming from Pennsylvania, what's it like? Being in the South now and being in a place like Nashville.
Yeah, it's a wonderful city. It's a wonderful place, and we go down to Aiken and we go down to Camden, South Carolina. Camden, South Carolina is a huge day, and that's a wonderful day. This is very different, and I've never been here to do anything but to ride and to work. So I've never really appreciated or taken any of it in. I've always been kind of laser focused on racing, and it's amazing how many people come out, and it's an awesome day.
We were talking earlier about the differences between, because a lot of people obviously watched the Kentucky Derby this past weekend, the differences between this Saturday's race and the Derby. Take us through the obstacles. This is probably not the right terminology there, but what do these horses have to encounter throughout the race, the 3-mile race?
Yeah, no, obstacles is definitely the right word. And there's 2 different courses here. There's a timber course, which is over solid wooden fences, and then the hurdle course, which is over the brush hurdles that you see. And there's a lot of jumping here at Nashville. Like, you come down off the bottom turn, and I think you jump 4 hurdles before you get to another turn. So it's very fair, and it's very stiff. There's a big pull from second last to now what is the last.
Where in Pennsylvania?
I'm an hour outside of Philadelphia in a big town of Cochranville, but Unionville, Pennsylvania, just outside of there.
Eagles fan?
Huge Eagles fan. Yep.
Phillies fan?
I wouldn't follow baseball much, but support the Phillies for sure.
No, we don't like the Phillies. Big Braves fan. So you are in a sports media hotbed, and I'm thinking of WIP in Philly, which is the huge sports talk up there. Those people are crazy.
Yeah. No, Philadelphia. I mean, that's definitely part of the probably I think a lot of times the teams kind of get a little bit of extra motivation from how passionate the city and the fans are, and I think it's such a thing that the city has pride in. It's awesome.
There's not a city in America whose sports teams elicit more reaction. When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Than Philly.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And like the parade is like crazy. They have to, like, nowhere else in the world are they greasing up the light posts for fear of people climbing up on them, tearing them down. It's awesome. And it's awesome to see that, Philadelphia takes so much pride in their sports.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool deal. And, gosh, their Super Bowl victory was so much easier than anybody thought it would be. So those people from the middle of the third quarter on had time to plan, get out there, start the celebrating that night, then the parade and all that kind of stuff. So now I guess it's all repeat.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. When we got the first one a couple of years ago, I can't remember what year it was, when Nick Foles was deputized for Carson Wentz. That was that was the first one, and that was really exciting. And this one is awesome. This team has been awesome to follow. Jalen Hurts is really cool, and Saquon Barkley has been kind of the talking point of the whole season. He had an unbelievable season, and everybody on the team, everybody played lights out in the Super Bowl. Everybody delivered.
He's auditioning to be the Eagles pre and post game.
Yeah, I was going to say he could be the Eagles color analyst too, but I don't think you could be a horse.
No, I think we pretty well know. I
so
need
he's
to stick
flipping
to
roles on us here.
EAGLES. It'll be pretty cool to see if they're good enough to repeat. So I got to ask this because I'm a big Philly sports fan. I got the chance. Gosh, it's been 15 years ago to be involved in the Titans and the Eagles in a preseason game.
Okay.
And so, as you know, back then it was the Vet, the Wachovia Center, and the old Spectrum in basically kind of a straight line in that city. 4 hours before the game, I decided that I have got to see the Spectrum. The Spectrum was the site of the NCAA title game the night President Reagan was shot. Muhammad Ali fought a heavyweight title fight in the Spectrum. Julius Erving had that iconic wraparound thing that you see a lot. And I talked my way in. One of y'all's guards at the Spectrum, I just admitted to him, I said, I'm in Nashville. I'm from Nashville. I'm here to do a Titans preseason game. Will you let me see this building? And he took me in, gave me a tour. It was great.
Oh, that's great.
I loved it.
I love it. Yeah, it's amazing. What being able to have good people skills and being able to have good conversation skills, it gets you pretty long ways.
So, okay, let's wrap it up here. You felt it seemed like in the press conference pretty strong on where the big race is going. That the favorite going to win this?
Yeah, I mean, I think snap decision. If he brings the same run that he brings to this race every year for the last 4 years, I think he'll be really tough. I think the only concern would be if it rained and the ground got any softer. I haven't walked the track, but it doesn't sound like it's very soft. It sounds like it's going to be lovely ground.
God, it ought to be. We've had a ton of rain.
Yeah. So I think, that would be really the biggest concern. And, it's horses aren't machines. They have to turn up and hopefully, he doesn't have an off day, but if he does, it happens and he won't be the first horse to show up and have an off day.
Hey, thanks for coming over here. This was fun for us. Dwight knows I have no idea what I'm yapping about, but you made it really easy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. No, it's great to be here.
Parker Hendriks joining us here at our broadcast site 2 days before the Iroquois Steeplechase. We're broadcasting live out here, and Billy is, for those of you watching by way of podcast, adjusting the picture, keeping me out of it, but giving you all sort of the sights of what is an amazing event. We'll go to the break. This is 94.9 The Fan.
At Wilson Bank & Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank & Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Attention sports fans, the Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectibles Expo is set for Friday, May the 16th through Sunday the 18th at the Farm Bureau Expo Center in Lebanon. Former Titans Javon Kearse, Albert Hainsworth, and Joey Kent will all be there, and we'll broadcast our show on Friday the 16th. Parking is free, admission is $10, and I can't wait to meet all of you in Lebanon. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
Flat Rock Motor Club is a members-only driving resort combining a world-class racetrack with exquisite amenities. Located on 800 acres of pristine countryside in the heart of Tennessee, their elite 3.5-mile club track is surrounded by sweeping views of manicured rolling hills. The charm of Tennessee can be felt with every hill you climb. Whether your beverage of choice is sweet tea or whiskey, at their premier driving resort, you will experience a sophisticated blend of country elegance and southern hospitality. For more information, log on to flatrockmotorclub.com.
Nice to meet you. We welcome all of you back to what is hour number 2. A little different today than normal. If you're watching by way of podcast, the good news is you're virtually never going to see me other than this one time hello. We're obviously out at the Iroquois Steeplechase, which Saturday will be 25 to 30,000 people out here. It will be an amazing scene, but we're out here a couple of days early. Dwight Hall has been with me from the beginning because they know I know absolutely nothing about steeplechase racing, but Dwight has sort of led me through all this. Dwight, I've had fun over the years with former Titans coach Jeff Fisher because he used to run a celebrity softball game that Kim Detweiler Burton was a part of putting together. And there was a particular year where it really looked bad 2.5 hours before game time. Storm coming from the west. Jeff walks in. I said, "You're never going to play this." He goes, "You just watch." And somehow the system, half of it moved up toward Kentucky. The other half went down toward Alabama, and Jeff got in his softball game. And, I asked him, I said, "Where was your advantage over me?" Well, he had one of these super duper radars. And my guess is our next guest, Ted Thompson's, probably got one of those as well. Talk to me about what he does out here.
Well, Ted's title is called Clerk of the Course. And really what that means is he's actually in charge of producing the course that you'll see on Saturday, making sure that the grass has the proper moisture in it, proper compaction. His staff that works underneath of him just does an amazing job. So, kind of racing on Saturday is all on his shoulders, whether the horses have a safe place to be. And I will tell you that looking at our course this year, I think it's better than it's ever been. It's amazing the turf that we have out there. In fact, one of the traders yesterday posted the Augusta of steeplechasing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you throw the A word in, that's for serious. Ted, thank you for joining us here at our broadcast site. So let's get truth in broadcasting here. How many times have you checked out the Weather Channel this week?
It's never been off.
Get close on it. I want them to hear you.
It's never been off. And it's funny. I mean, we are sort of, it's all an act of God, really, as the ground that we have. We do have a full irrigation system. It's a 2-wire Rainbird system that we can control each individual heads.
Yeah.
So to that extent, we always produce good, safe ground to run on. But the best ground is always ground with natural rain in it.
And God knows we've had plenty of that.
We've done well this month for sure.
So is that the reason the turf is in such good shape?
It is, amongst other, there's a lot that goes into it. And I was fortunate enough to inherit the program. Dwight was a clerk of the course before me, and then he handed it to a fellow named Dave Green, who was a great clerk of the course, who really designed and put a lot of work into the course as well. And I inherited from him. So we start preparation for next year's race the day after this race ends.
See, I'd give you till Monday.
No. We take a couple hours.
This man's
off.
a slave driver.
He's
got you.
He is tough. Yes.
You at least should be able to go to church.
Well, yeah, but not around here. Yeah, no scraps of bread, nothing. Just right back at it.
So, kind of lead us through. I'm almost going to use the term on game day, because that's what I'm so used to saying. On game day, what is your day like?
Depends on the game and the day, really. This, for everything that goes right, there's about 10 things that can go wrong. So you're always running around putting fires out. So last Sunday, I got a phone call from Zach Lovett, who was our turf superintendent. And I know when he calls on Sunday, it's never good news. And we had a leak in a 3-inch main on the irrigation system.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the one you need to call if that problem exists. So what else I mean, obviously you're running around like a madman the day of. Talk to me about where all we find you.
So I'm also a trainer as well. I mean, this is a small sport, so everybody sort of has to wear a lot of hats. So I'll be here with the horse in the first race. A fair bit of my day will be concentrating on making sure that everything's good for him until that first race and taking care of him afterwards. Then really it's just staying in touch with everybody involved, making sure that all our systems are working, all our cool down stations where we position water so that we can get water on the horses to cool them off as quickly as possible, or up and running. We have plenty of water, plenty of ice. Volunteers are all helping us out, which we have a great volunteer army here that do a great job for us.
So all the rain is good.
Yes.
What about the hackers over at Harpeth Hills like me who don't aim properly?
Well, if you go and you look in the center console of my truck, There's 15 golf balls sitting there right now, and that's just this week.
And 6 of them have my name on it.
That's all George Plastro. Yes.
That's not good. That's not good.
I'll sell them back to you for $1.50.
You know what? I bet you could run a pretty good business at that. So, Dwight, why is he so good?
Well, Ted has been a rider for a number of years. He is currently a trainer. He's a horseman. So I think that, enables him to really understand what a good surface is. He's dedicated to the job and really takes it to heart. And, it's a personal endeavor for him.
Wow. Not bad for a slave driver, was it?
I'll take that. Yeah.
So are you really being serious that it is the next day?
Well, maybe not exactly the next day, but the following
close.
week. So our turf actually consists of it's a thatch of Bermuda and crabgrass that grows. There's summer grasses that grow thick over the summer, and they produce a nice carpet feel. And then we plant in the fall. We plant ryegrass over top of that, perennial GQ rye, which is the same grass, exact same seed that they use at Augusta Nashville, as a matter of fact. And we plant that and produce it to peak on the second Saturday in May.
Can you come over to my house? Maybe take a look at some issues.
You wouldn't believe my yard. It doesn't look anything like this.
Well, you know what's amazing? All around our area with all this rain, everybody's grass looks fabulous. But by June 15th, we look like, it's Steiner Liff.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's been an issue for us this year with the drought over the summer.
Yeah.
It really stunted some of the summer grasses.
And the 98 to 102.
Exactly.
For the high of 15 days.
That's not grass growing weather. No.
Yeah.
No. So we've had to manage that a bit. We were a bit concerned that it took a while, but in the last 3 weeks when the temperatures came up, so did they, and the course has really come on, and knock wood, has peaked just on the right weekend.
Hey, thanks for taking the time to come over here.
Thanks so much for having us.
And listen, if you need a raise, just talk to me, and I'll work on Dwight a little bit. Whatever your needs are, we'll
maybe
get
a day off here and there.
You know what? We'll work on that.
Yeah, and I'll sell your golf balls back to you.
That's a fair deal. Teb Thompson joining us at our broadcast site. We'll go to the break. Eventually, Autumn Eklond will join us. She says she is the CMO, and I don't know if that's Chief Money Officer or what the M stands for. We'll find out when she joins us. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Welcome all of you back. This is a little different. We're broadcasting live from the Iroquois Steeplechase, and on Saturday, this place will be crazy. 30,000 people will be here. Billy is showing you, if you're watching by way of podcast, some of the sights of an incredible event that I'll admit, while I've been probably 10 times, what I know you could put in a thimble. Billy, I'll tell you a story, though, that is starting to get out that you watch next week. We're going to talk a lot about. The Athletic has put out a story that ESPN has sent the signal to the Southeastern Conference. We're ready to pay you that 60 to 80 million more that you want if you'll add a 9th conference game.
There it is. That's, you knew it was coming.
Money talks.
Yeah.
And all the BS walks.
Because it was the coaches that had the gripe, right? And therefore Greg Sankey
and the coaches are right.
Yeah, they are. But here's some money. What are you going to do now? I mean,
well,
that could change. That could change their mind a little bit.
It's sort of a, I don't know how to describe this necessarily, but it's sort of ESPN and Sankey almost saying to the coaches, look, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
You keep telling us you need the NIL money. You keep telling us, we've got to have all this visibility, and ESPN's not willing to pay it. And really where ESPN is coming from is, I want to say, around November 22nd. The weekend before Thanksgiving has traditionally become sort of the UL Monroe, UT Chattanooga, Samford, all the schools looking for that extra win.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for instance, in a Vanderbilt's case last year, they needed one more win to become bowl eligible.
Yeah.
And probably the bottom half of the SEC is the group that's the most concerned.
Yeah.
Because they're saying, okay, we'll get the extra money, but we're not going to get the bowl bid.
Right.
And that's the dilemma that's going on right now.
We've talked about that's been the formula for Kentucky, Vandy, Mississippi State, every now and then Arkansas, some other teams, South Carolina, when they're down, to get those 4 non-conference wins and 2 SEC wins, and then you're bowl eligible. But at this point now, like you said, that means 3 SEC wins for them and then win 3 non-conference. That's a lot harder for a school like Kentucky or a Vandy, especially Vandy, which we know they need all of those non-conference games typically are winnable outside of maybe 1. But now with the potential of 3, how many of those will be winnable? And how many, is it all 3? Is it only 2? So that really starts to narrow it down.
When I first read the story, my first gut feeling is, okay, there's going to be a standoff at the OK Corral, which is down at the spring meetings. I think it's in Destin.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Billy, I think it's like everything else in life. Money wins out over everything. The coaches are going to scream and yell. And by the way, they're right in their feeling. But in the end, I think it's the ADs and the presidents who are going to say, yeah, but you're begging us for all this NIL money, so shut up and take it.
Right, especially now. Money talks more than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's how they get players. It's how you get new facilities. I mean, why wouldn't it talk now in terms of adding a ninth game? And I was wondering how it would happen. What was going to be the cause of the ninth game? Well, here you go. It's going to be money.
Apparently, ESPN sent the signal, and part of the reason they've sent it is that 10 of the 12 biggest TV rating games last year in college football involved an SEC team.
Right. And without ESPN, what's SEC football at this point? It's still a great product. And you could say you could say it the other way around. For ESPN, what would they be without SEC football? They've got to coexist. And so for ESPN, that they were probably one of the only entities that could have forced the SEC's hand here.
Okay, so Autumn Eklond should have been listening really close to this. I asked her earlier, what does CMO stand for? And what was your answer?
It's Chief Marketing Officer, but it's a bunch of letters for basically I still check the mail and change the light bulb. And I do everything Holly doesn't do. She does everything I don't do.
Okay, so I've changed it for you.
Okay,
CMO,
what's my new title?
Chief Money Officer.
Gotta make that money, man.
So how receptive is the Nashville community with all of the other things that are going on in sports and entertainment as you try to market this fabulous event?
I think Nashville sees this event as a strong traditional event, and it's such a good cause for the Children's Hospital. So people have had this on their calendar for decades. I have dinner with people and they say, oh, when I got married, I told my husband second Saturday of May is always Steeplechase Day. We've grown so much in this town that we're competing with all kinds of events now to get ticket buyers. And we're always wanting to make sure that we're bringing in young people into the industry to like the event and want to be a part of it. So it's interesting. I think people are receptive, and I still meet people that have no idea that we're a nonprofit.
Is most of that new people coming into the community?
Most of it is, yes. Like the new to Nashville individuals they're so busy, and there's so many other options for them to have from an event standpoint. But even people that have been here forever sometimes don't realize that we're a nonprofit. And at the end of the day, we're giving the money back to our beneficiaries. So we still have to do a good job of getting the word out. And I joke with people, nonprofit means your budget always starts at zero. So for us to get the word out, we need people like you and other individuals that help us share that message.
So you're getting what you need. I mean, I know you'll say, well, yeah, we can always use more. But it sounds like, and it looks like, you're getting what you need.
Yeah, we have a strong base of volunteers and supporters. We have 500 volunteers, mostly from the equestrian world that come
really?
Yes. It's amazing. They come out, because we're a sanctioned event. So we have to have stewards, and we have to have jump marshals. We have to have the whole 9 yards. And all of those individuals volunteer their time all day on race day to help us put it on.
So I'm going to go somewhere that you may want to shoot me, but when I was in college, it got out of hand. Now that's been 40 years ago, where you had kind of a big drunk fest of the students, but it looks like slowly but surely you all did the right thing years ago to cut that out.
Absolutely.
And
even though it hurt the attendance at first, it was something that needed to be done. People, we have a social responsibility for the community just as much as we do raising money for the hospital. So that was very important for us to do. And if people want to do that stuff, they just are not going to do it here.
Yeah. But you have slowly built the attendance back up.
Yeah.
What will you end up having Saturday?
So we'll have between 25 and 30,000 on Saturday. All of our main areas are sold out, and the last hospitality area that's not sold out yet is Rural 615, and we're about 50 tickets away, so we'll probably sell out that on race day. The only area still remaining is tailgating and individual tickets at this point, but honestly, when you look at the field, we could probably fit 50,000 people, individual tickets out there that just be standing neck to neck, but we could do it, and we'll do it.
So if a person's listening to this and they say, I've never been to this, but it's going to be a great weather day, what do they need to do? Just show up?
You can buy individual tickets and lot T parking on race day. We have enough parking there. Or if they want to ride share in, buy an individual ticket, bring your lawn chair, bring your snacks and drinks and water and beverages, or a blanket, and come find a spot on the grounds near the rails or on the hillside or in the center field area. There's plenty of green space too. And an individual ticket gets you all over the grounds. You don't have to buy one of the fancy hospitality tickets to attend Steeplechase. It's for everybody. And I hate when people say that, but it's really true. It is for everybody.
Yeah. When I was growing up and I knew I wanted to get in this business, it was sort of Vanderbilt basketball, and then it was the Sounds. And that was really it. And I had a belief at the time that if I was going to take this to the next level, it was going to have to be in Atlanta. And Atlanta was a city I loved dearly. But then all of a sudden in the mid-90s, all this stuff happens. Governor Bredesen, who was our mayor, made the decision to build the arena. We know how that's played out. Then the NFL kind of dropped in our laps, even though people like me never believed it was coming. So you know the answer better than I do. What level of support, what level can we as a city support in sports?
That's a great question. We're getting
Remember, you're talking
big.
to a baseball fan.
I know. That's a great, we've got real estate. If we need it, we'll tear something down and build whatever we want in place of it, right? Like, we've got the people, we've got the community. We still get 25, 30,000 people here. Soccer gets a lot of attendance. The Titans, they'll get that back when they get the new stadium up. So, and if you go to a Preds game, it's very exciting. And I think we're a sports town. I've thought that maybe it's just because I'm Southern and I've been here my whole life. So if you don't like football, then you got to have a conversation with somebody else. But I feel like we have enough to keep growing. And I know people probably don't like somebody that's from Nashville saying that. But we've got room
I love
for it.
the answer because for a long time, you couldn't say what you just said. We're a sports city.
Yeah, we are a sports city now. Like, in women's basketball is on the discussion and other things. Like, I think all of that is great.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. I'll joke with individuals too. We're a nonprofit. We don't discriminate against additional sponsors or people or a community. And we need the support. Bring it on.
How long has this thing been running?
This will be the 84th anniversary of the Steeplechase. We've missed 2 years. So if you do the math, people start getting confusing, even though it's just 2 down, but it's the 84th anniversary.
So, you think about, obviously, the Titans, late 90s, Sounds. When did the Sounds come to Nashville?
Sounds were 77, 78.
Okay. The Steeplechase.
The Sounds were here in 77 and 78.
78, wow. I believe, was the first year that Larry brought them back, and they were working out of a trailer where Greer Stadium is, and I'll never forget meeting Coach Schmittou in that trailer. It was incredible. I was like, what they pulled off back then is a 30 for 30 that nobody would believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is Steeplechase the first sporting staple in Nashville?
It goes well before us. I don't know if you've ever talked to Dwight about the history, but there was horse tracks all around Tennessee. Not only this one, there was some where the fairgrounds track is Nashville. That used to be a horse track. There was one in Gallatin in Kennesaw Farms area. There was one, so there was some all over the place. And then when we decided as a state that you couldn't drink and you couldn't bet, everything moved to Kentucky. And that's when Kentucky took off with thoroughbred racing. So I always tell them when I meet somebody from Kentucky, I always shake their hand and say, "You're welcome."
Yeah. Well,
did you all notice the governor last week when the race was over, the Kentucky Derby, and they've got him up on that platform with the the winners, trainers, and all, and he says, you know, they Governor, how are you? Everything's great in Kentucky. Our economy is booming. And I'm like, no kidding.
But I felt like an idiot asking Dwight about the betting here. And he was like, well, it's not legal to
it's
bet on
not.
horses.
And people
he
don't
said,
realize that, but it happens out there.
But he said, I see a lot of slips, a lot of boxes, a lot of envelopes, and I think we know what's in there. So,
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends, that you know, they would tell me coming over here that they got horses they bet on. I'm like, how do you do it?
They find a way.
Yeah. There's firewalls and to try to protect all that, but I'm sure there's smart people that can get around it.
So, Autumn, let me ask this. One thing that has really changed with the arena, Nissan Stadium, and eventually the Dome Stadium, and you see it with the soccer stadium as well, is the amenities that corporations are looking for.
Mhm.
And I look out here, you got a bunch of amenities.
Yeah, we do. So we have more railside tents sold this year than we have in the history that I know of, and definitely since I've been here in the last 5 years. It's a great way to either do a team building with your team or buy a tent package for 65 guests, 100 guests, bring all your top clients, bring the people you want to entertain. And what we find is people want those luxury packages. They just want it to be easy. They just want to show up and have everything ready for them. So we have caterers that they can recommend. We set out the furniture. We do the heavy lifting here for them so that they can have an incredible day.
You've almost copied, it looks like, the University of Tennessee and how they do their scenario for people that buy tailgate tents and the food comes with it.
Yeah.
And you just said it, they want it easy.
They want it easy. Nobody wants to lie. I mean, we are still one of those BYOB events, which is rare to find in Nashville, that you can bring your own drink, you can buy a drink, or you can have a hosted bar. They're different grounds, you know, different tents for different people. But sorry, I got a little distracted. The UTV's behind me.
Yeah, how about that?
We're actually in production, so
and we've got the video to prove it.
yeah. I didn't know we were on camera. Why didn't you tell me? I was not paying attention earlier.
Look at it.
It's an added benefit of the show.
Why do you think we have avoided showing me?
George, I was supposed to wear makeup and do my hair, and now I'm a little disappointed.
Absolutely not. Who cares? Hey, the weather is clearing. The forecast looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage, and I think one of the things that doing a show like this out here does, it allows people in particular who are new to our area, who don't know that this exists, that, you know, you create the option and then they make the decision.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. So we had the post position earlier, and Mark McMillan said it's a sport like no other. And I didn't grow up in the horse industry, but I started here. You've heard my story because of my daughter and being at the hospital and stuff. And after I came on here and visited all the steeplechases and have been involved in horse racing, your heartbeat, I mean, when the race starts, you're just anticipating like excitement. And I don't care who's running. I just love it. And you can't go to a horse racing event and not enjoy it. There's a Netflix special out right now that's like Race to the Crown or something. And that's the flat world. It's definitely not the steeplechase world. They're a little bit more flamboyant in the flat racing than we are. We're kind of like a bigger family. But you just can't go to an event at a horse racing event in steeplechase and not walk away saying, wow, that was incredible.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on here.
You're welcome.
Chief Money Officer. Did you like that?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, don't you have a new title? What was yours?
Yeah, what was it? What was it that I put out there earlier?
I can't remember. You made up
Did you say
one.
bottle or something?
No, it was a lot of I can't think of a clean word.
Kelly would come up with one.
It was a lot of bull. Let's just put it that way. Autumn, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Officially, she is the chief marketing officer. Unofficially, I made her the chief money officer. Autumn Eklond joining us here. We'll go to the break on what has turned into a beautiful Thursday in Nashville with the sun out. We are at the Iroquois Steeplechase, and on Saturday, you will know it, because there'll be a bunch of people here and a lot of excitement. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Flat Rock Motor Club is a members-only driving resort combining a world-class racetrack with exquisite amenities. Located on 800 acres of pristine countryside in the heart of Tennessee, their elite 3.5-mile club track is surrounded by sweeping views of manicured rolling hills. The charm of Tennessee can be felt with every hill you climb. Whether your beverage of choice is sweet tea or whiskey, at their premier driving resort, you will experience a sophisticated blend of country elegance and southern hospitality. For more information, log on to flatrockmotorclub.com.
We are back. We have had a really good time here this afternoon and would encourage any and all to come out on Saturday. What you're seeing, you're not seeing me if you're watching the podcast, but you are seeing some of the sights and sounds of how an event like this, the 84th running of the Iroquois Steeplechase, gets put together. And we have had, I think it's 5 different people on that have talked. The one that I probably could have done 2 hours with was Parker Hendriks.
Yeah, he's really interesting.
He is a hoot.
And he's young. I mean,
21.
He's 3 years younger than me, and he's done way more than me. He's smarter than me.
Yeah.
But no, and being from Pennsylvania too, I thought that was interesting. And
Eagles.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the star of the show today.
So, are we doing stat of the day?
We can.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What the heck?
Stat
so
of the day.
I'm running completely blind on this one.
Yep.
So I've got a better excuse. I can't even see the question.
Yeah. There's zero help today for George. It's brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right. A little while ago, we had a stat of the day question where Kyle Tucker of the Cubs was leading Major League Baseball in WAR, wins above replacement. Now he isn't even leading the Cubs team in WAR. Who is leading the Cubs team in WAR?
Pete Arms. Is it Pete Crow Armstrong, or is it Pete Armstrong Crow?
It's Pete Crow Armstrong.
Okay, it's him.
Is that your guess?
Absolutely.
Final answer?
Yeah. Well, let me think for a minute. I don't think it's Nico Horner. Yeah, I do think it's him.
Well, you are correct. It is PCA.
PCA is becoming sort of a kind of a folk hero in Chicago. First of all, the Cubs have got a really good shot to win that division. They are really good, and I think they sent the signal in a pair of series with the Dodgers back in early April, where I want to say they went 4-3 in the 7 games that they played against them. And you know what that says is we can hang with the big boys.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, there's about to be a summer of fun at Wrigley Field. By about the middle of June, you won't be able to fit them in with a shoehorn.
Well, that NL Central, that's going to get interesting this year. I mean, I don't know if the Cardinals are at 500.
Cardinals, forget the Cardinals.
Yeah.
By the way, Danny will be with us tomorrow during the 4 to 5 o'clock hour.
But you got the Reds, the Brewers, and the Cardinals all sitting at 500. Who comes out of that pack? Is it the Brew Crew? Is it the Reds? What are the Cardinals going to do here? Because the Cubs are ahead there by 3 games.
It should be the Brew Crew. They are, in my mind, clearly the best of the 3. Now, Cincinnati has got an intangible, and that's Terry Francona, who I think is a terrific major league manager.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals, to me, are in a rebuild, whether they say it or not. The city has just sort of, I don't know, just sort of forgotten about the Cardinals. I look at, I've got the extra innings package, and I see more empty seats in that stadium than I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's weird to see.
And the bad thing about it is their downtown is totally dependent on the St. Louis Cardinals. Yep. And when they suck, what's going on in the city sucks
the life out of the city.
It does.
Yeah. Well, they
Absolutely.
won 5 straight. So, yeah, the Cubs and Pete Crow Armstrong are rolling. He's a former Vandy commit, one of many.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was.
But never played here.
No. He committed and was one of the guys that drafted high and moves on to the pros.
So you will be in Knoxville tomorrow.
I will. And that's where I'll be doing the show tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a big weekend. It's an important one because we've talked about it. This is an opportunity for this program to flip a narrative. The narrative right now is that Tennessee and Tony Vitello own Vanderbilt's program currently. I mean, you ask.
Well, what is it? They've won 10 of the last 12.
Yes, they're 10-2 in the last 12. They've won the last 3 series when these teams have met. We talked about it. Lindsey Nelson has been a house of horrors for this program. A couple of years ago, there was a Saturday game that was 17-3, and just it was over.
Yeah.
So you can flip the narrative of you can't beat them. You can't beat that team. You can flip that narrative, but you can also start to flip Vandy's a top 15 team in the country right now, but you can flip the narrative of, well, Corbin can't win in the NIL portal era. Well, he's slowly getting. I think this has been you said it a week ago. It's been one of his better coaching jobs.
Oh, I think it might be the best coaching job he has ever done.
Yeah, to get this team, I think they're better roster wise than last year, but not by much.
No, their everyday lineup doesn't put fear in anybody. But what is starting to put in fear is their pitching staff, who they trot out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, has become pretty lethal.
Now, they still have a small margin for error. That they got to pitch really well. They've got to play flawless defense, and they need to hit just enough. That's a small needle to thread, especially when you're going up to Knoxville to play a Tennessee team that has lost 4 out of their last 5. They've lost 3 straight series at home. So it's going to be juiced up. I'm just interested to see, do they rise to the occasion? For Vandy fans, it's almost been like, can you beat them? I mean, are they that far in your head to where it's, you almost can't get past it? And it's like who was the Braves' kryptonite for a while in the 90s?
The Yankees.
There was a point where you got, I'm sure, frustrated enough.
I got very frustrated
to where you grew to hate the Yankees. And
no, I'd always hated them. There was nothing new. But I know what you're saying. That there's a thing here. First of all, let's take both sides of this because they're both fighting kind of for the same thing, and that is not only to host an opening round regional the weekend after Memorial Day, but they're also both trying to get themselves in a position where the NCAA says, and if you get out of that regional, it's to super regional. I think for Vandy, they cannot get swept.
No.
For a series of reasons. One, I think it continues the narrative of Tennessee's in your head and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The truth of it is they're probably closer to the same ability right now than they've been in about 3 years. And Tennessee has sprung some leaks in recent weeks. And the question is, can Vandy take advantage of it? Or do they go up there and get belted the way they have? I don't know.
I've told a lot of people asking me about this weekend, if Vandy can get either game 1 or game 2, I feel good because Connor Fennell on Sundays is 5-0. He hasn't lost. Now he's shown some weaknesses in the last couple of starts.
Yeah, Alabama tagged him around pretty good.
They did. And that would scare you a little bit on a Sunday where maybe you don't have as much bullpen depth if you're Vandy, and Tennessee can let it fly. That's the other thing. Both teams are playing in that park this weekend. Tennessee hasn't been hitting as many home runs this season as they have in the past. I mean, you look at statistically, they're way down. So I just look forward to seeing how does Vandy come out? How do they come out Friday? We saw J.D. Thompson last year. I don't know if you were at the Sunday game last year at Hawkins Field, where he was hearing it from the Tennessee dugout about because he got caught with the foreign substance on his arm. Tennessee's dugout is letting him hear it, and he gets. He shows it to him in the dugout and does a little money sign or whatever he did. So there's going to be all kinds of that kind of stuff. But
there'll be a lot of that going on.
But who keeps their composure and powers through? Because whoever wins this weekend has the what's the word?
Well, would appear to have the leg
in
up
the driver's seat.
Yeah.
To be a national seed. Now Tennessee still has to go play Arkansas on the road,
which is a recipe to get swept.
Right. But they've been
Texas
good.
found out.
But Tennessee's been better on the road, weirdly, than at home.
So what's the theory to that?
I don't know. I because we talked about it. Lindsey Nelson has been a house of horrors for everybody. So what's happened? Maybe they're feeling the pressure. That's why I wish we could have gotten Tony on. He wasn't feeling great this week to say why? What's up with them at home? I've heard some theories about the stadium being renovated and maybe not as many people showing up to the park. The student section, you remember when the student section was right behind first base?
Sure.
They've pushed them down the right field line, down that first base line, and they're all standing up. So all the students have to go and stand up. Now there'll be a bunch this weekend, and it'll be rowdy. But I don't know. It's weird seeing them struggle so much at home, which is why I think Vanderbilt can go up there and win. It's not going to be easy, but I think it can happen.
ESPN's noticed because between SEC Network and ESPN2, I think all 3 games are being televised.
It's on SEC Network tomorrow at 4:30 local time here in Nashville, so it'll cut into our show. We'll end at 5, and then you can head over to I think it's 102.5, and then you can watch it on SEC Network. But Saturday and Sunday, get this, those are on ESPN2.
Yeah. So a lot of good national coverage.
Yeah.
And it'll allow the committee to make stronger judgments about both of these teams.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Okay. We'll go to our final break of the show. Come back with Plaster Bet of the Day, such as it is. And who knows what else. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler. Attention sports fans. The Middle Tennessee Sports Spectacular and Collectibles Expo is set for Friday, May the 16th through Sunday the 18th at the Farm Bureau Expo Center in Lebanon. Former Titans Javon Curse, Albert Hainsworth, and Joey Kent will all be there, and we'll broadcast our show on Friday the 16th. Parking is free, admission is $10, and I can't wait to meet all of you in Lebanon.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Okay, we are back. Final segment before we get out of here. It's turned out to be a beautiful Thursday from the Iroquois Steeplechase. I brought this up earlier. This is a Metro Parks deal, and it is beautiful. It has always been beautiful. Of course, Harpeth Hills Golf Course is right next door to it. Have I ever shanked a ball over to the Iroquois Steeplechase? I have.
Tim just delivered 4 of yours.
No, those are not mine, although they do have my name on it. So there've been some things go on today. One of them involves Joel Quenneville, who at one point was linked to the Predators, but it never happened.
Yeah, he's headed to the Ducks. They are going to hire Quenneville in his return to the NHL. He's been out of the league since 2021. He resigned as the Panthers coach after the investigation into the Blackhawks. An independent report from a law firm back in 21 detailed how the Blackhawks failed to properly address allegations by player Kyle Beach that he was sexually assaulted by video coach Brad Aldrich during the 2010 Stanley Cup run. So Quenneville is finally back. It feels like it's been forever. He's finally back in the league. The league determined that Quenneville, then general manager Stan Bone, and then executive Al McIsaac were ineligible to work for other NHL teams. So that has been lifted, and Quenneville is back in the league. But, I mean, I remember him and Barry Trotz going at it when the Preds and the Blackhawks were in their heyday of that rivalry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that was sort of the Berlin Wall that the Preds had to get over the year they made the run to the Stanley Cup final. The Blackhawks were 1 seed, the Preds were the 8, and the Preds swept them. Doesn't happen very often that way in the NBA.
I still can't believe that happened. Speaking of the NBA, I still can't believe, I know we hit on it earlier, I still can't believe the Celtics lost that game. Up another 20-point collapse.
Yeah, and what really is interesting is that both games felt exactly the same.
Yeah.
At the end, whether it's Tatum's fault or not, he wasn't able to deliver. And on the other end, it's just Jalen Brunson doesn't make the play. The guy is incredible. And right now, you could make the argument that no player in that league means more to their team than Jalen Brunson does to his.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, when they get back, Billy, on Saturday, the Garden will be explosive.
The defense chant.
Oh my God. It'll be at an
Oregon
all-time high.
Yeah. But that's a really good Knicks team. I was thinking about it last night. A lot of people are wondering, what's going on with the Celtics? Is there something going on with Tatum? I heard some rumors that Antetokounmpo might be a Celtic next year, and that's what Tatum's worried about. I don't buy into a lot of that. I just think the Knicks are a good team.
The Knicks are a really good team, and it looks to me like they have gotten very tired. Think about it. They're separated by 3 hours. It's a 3-hour drive from New York to Boston. So there's a lot of cross-pollinating, Yankees, Red Sox, all of a sudden Knicks, Celtics. And I think the Knicks players, it feels like they're tired of hearing how great the Celtics are.
I mean, Bridges, Anunoby, they've got a really, really talented team. And, Tatum didn't play well enough. I mean, you can't score 13 points. And I don't know what he was doing on that last possession.
Yeah, I don't either. And to be honest, they don't take the time out at the end.
Yeah.
And, the feeling being, look, we've been here any number of times. We know exactly what to do. But I got to be honest, last night it didn't look like they knew what to do.
No.
And the Knicks just simply get it to Brunson, get the hell out of the way, and he always delivers.
They found a way.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Meanwhile, did you see that other score?
Oh, yeah. Listen,
149 to 106.
Yeah, Oklahoma City scored 87 points in the first half, and that is the single largest number of points that has ever been scored in a half in an NBA playoff game. Think about that. In all the years, 87. I mean, normally you think of 50 to 60. They scored 87. Denver looked helpless.
I mean,
OKC looked really pissed off.
They did
about losing.
They blew game. They knew they blew game one. But Gilgeous-Alexander, he left the game. He didn't play the whole fourth quarter,
which I think was really smart because, if this series goes the way they think it's gonna, there are going to be some 48-minute games that he's going to have to play.
And Jokic, he's obviously frustrated, but I don't love the way he plays sometimes. Like, he's an international guy. He probably doesn't even like being in America, if we're being honest.
I'm not willing to go there.
But you
I
remember
don't know
at the parade, he would have rather gone home. Where's he from? He said he's got to take care of his horses.
Yeah, I don't know. But to what you are talking about, I think he's gotten sit on the 3-point line happy.
Yeah.
He needs to be down low, posting up. And I think he needs to do more of that and less of sitting on that 3-point line. The other thing that's going on is his free throw shooting has kind of deserted him a little bit.
Yeah.
He has not been as good at the free throw line. You think about 2-3 years ago when Denver won it all, he was unstoppable.
Yeah.
And it feels like something's missing from him. Now, the something missing in Denver, they make the coaching change. They feel like the first round victory over the Clippers validated that decision, but they got their hands full. OKC may well be the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, they for them to do that shows you what they're capable of. I'm with you. They're my favorite right now to win it.
And the other thing about them, Billy, they're in a city that is so bought into the Thunder, and they bought into them on the day that they got them.
Yeah.
This is the former Seattle Supersonics, and maybe with the exception of Madison Square Garden, and maybe I'd throw Golden State in there, no arena makes more noise than OKC.
Well, and they give out the T-shirts every game.
Yeah, they're really good about that.
Everybody wears them. You remember the Preds games?
Did you hear why?
Why?
Because apparently they're willing to put violators on the big screen and let them get booed. If you're not wearing the shirt
And they boo you.
that they hand you. They put you on the big screen and everybody boos you.
But people, I remember going to Preds games, and I'd be somebody that'd always wear the shirt and then look over at other people. Why aren't you wearing the shirt? Thunder, that you don't have to worry about that. Now, you might get booed on the big screen, but I thought that was cool that everybody, you watch those games on TV, everybody's got the shirt on.
So you're going to Pittsburgh next, aren't you?
Yeah. So Pittsburgh obviously has struggled. They've got the best young pitcher in the league, but they have fired manager Derek Shelton. They're on a 7-game losing streak. They're in last place in the NL Central, and GM Ben Cherington made the announcement earlier today that Shelton will no longer be the manager. Bench coach Don Kelly will take over. Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, they look lifeless. You talk about the Cardinals looking lifeless. The Pirates have no shot at this point in that division. And they don't have an awful team. I mean, they're not.
No, they've got really good young starting pitching, and they've got an emerging superstar in the outfield. But it feels like there's just no traction. It feels like, it's just a foregone conclusion. They're not supposed to win.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would. First of all, if Terry Francona were available, he'd be the guy I'd go get. I'll give you one. I don't think he'd do it. Joe Madden. Joe Madden's out there. He's won on a big-time level. I don't know that he's interested in managing again, but I would go get somebody that can teach that group how to win, because I think that's what they're lacking. Their starting pitching is not bad.
Yeah, they've got young talent. We talked to Danny about the Pirates, feels like every other week, with a question about him. Brian Reynolds, great outfielder. Some young O'Neal Cruz is an
emerging superstar. He's right there with L.A. De La Cruz.
He's unbelievable. And McCutchen he's on the back end of his career, obviously, and he's not going to help them out a ton. But the pitching, I mean, Paul Skeens, Mitch
and they've
Keller,
got some others. Yeah.
I mean, it is weird to see. Maybe they're too young. I mean, that's probably a question I'll ask Danny tomorrow. Can you be too young in baseball?
What they feel like to me is the 90 Atlanta Braves, who had a lot of good young talent.
They're going to be good.
They needed John Schuerholz to come in and get veterans like Otis Nixon, Terry Pendleton, Rafael Belliard. If you can go back with me that far, these Pirates feel like the 90 Braves that didn't know how to win and weren't anywhere close to winning. But a year later, they were in the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a good young core there, and so you hope they find the right guy to get them turned around.
Are we now at Plaster Bet of the Day?
We are, and It's brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. We take a look at what happened last night. Not a good night, George. 0-3. Celtics, L. Winnipeg, L. Actually, never mind. Toronto was a win. My bad. 1-2.
Yeah, but what record, since I can't see it?
81 and 87 and 4.
Yeah, we've got to get better. So I'm going to take the Braves tonight against Cincinnati because they lost last night. And I think they get themselves a win behind Spencer Schwellenbach, who has not pitched all that well in his last 2 or 3 games. I'm kind of looking here to see if there's anything late that I want to do. By the way, Minnesota, with Stephen Curry not able to play, Minnesota's a 10.5-point favorite. And I don't think they're worth that. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to take Vegas tonight to tie the series against Edmonton. Because if they don't win, if they go down 0-2 at home, they're not going to win this series. And to be honest, normally you would say the same thing about the Celtics. They're down 0-2 at home. But because they're, an NBA defending champ, they're used to winning. You can't rule them out.
Yeah.
Anybody else that goes down 0-2 at home, forget it.
I'm watching that Canes Capitals series, Carolina won game 1 on the road, and game 2 tonight in DC. If the Canes win tonight, they go home Saturday night at PNC Arena. That crowd's going to be rocking. I've been to a couple playoff games there.
Carolina's pretty good.
It's fun. It reminded me of a Preds playoff atmosphere, but the tailgating, it's like you're tailgating for a college football game. It's right there outside where NC State plays, and it's a fun place to be. So I'm rooting for the Canes to make that 2-0 because their place is going to be rocking.
Oh, they've got a chance to win it all.
Yeah. And they've been in the playoffs. They've been fighting. They haven't been able to push through
for years. Beat the Preds 3 years ago.
Yeah.
After COVID, when they changed the divisional structure for a year. So, first of all, I want to thank the folks with the Iroquois Steeplechase for having us out here. My friend Kim Detweiler Burton for her role in putting this together. Tomorrow, we'll get into the Tennessee Vanderbilt baseball series that ought to be really good. And then Danny Evans is going to join us during the 4 o'clock hour. So that's what we're doing. For everybody out here, for Billy Derrick, George Plaster, thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow on 94.9 The Fan.